Good Thursday morning. It is Thursday, November 17th. Next Thursday is actually Thanksgiving Day. Can you believe it? We have come so far. Glad that the midterms are over. I'm glad that the Democrats did so well. I wish that they had won the House as well, but we're in pretty good shape, I think. Things will change because the House is not going to let anything go through. So with the Republicans in control, but that doesn't mean that we stop working and stop fighting. I don't even pay any respect or any attention to the former guy. All I want, in terms of all I want, this is not anybody but me. All I want is to wake up one day and find out that he has been arrested. I'm just waiting for it. I want to believe in the justice system, and I want to believe that really, truly, this stuff that we always say that nobody is above the law. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see the former guy and all of those people who have helped him, enabled him, empowered him, supported his lies, contributed to all of that, the attorneys, all of them. I want to see them all pay for it. Then I will maybe begin to get a little bit of respect, just a little bit of respect for the American justice system. I don't have much faith in it. And the things that are happening now are cyclical. The things that we go through as a country are cyclical. But it doesn't feel good when you're in the cycle, right? It doesn't feel good. And so I want to thank everybody who did vote. Do you understand that the drive and the push to get more people to vote is not over, because we have now 2024 in front of us, and we have got to really not only get people to register, but get them to understand that their vote matters. We don't get anything if we don't get people into office who will help us. So again, I want us to act and realize that the local elections are the ones that really count. We have to really count on that and work for that. And let's just see what the end will bring. But we kind of bit a bullet in this election, and I think a lot of it was because of Roe v. Wade. And I don't know how much all this other stuff, this crazy stuff that's going on. The opposition to CRT, the fabricated, manipulated, constructed uh, opposition to CRT. Just wanted to say that. But the desire for people not to know history as it is, and all of this, it's been a whole bunch. So we still have a lot of work to do. We cannot rest. But again, I want to say thank you, thank you. Then on Thanksgiving, I hope that all of us who are yet here will just pause, and take a breath and remember those who are not with us. I won't be doing this broadcast next Thursday, I don't think, but this day, the Thursday before Thanksgiving, I really would like for us to remember to pause and remember those who have gone on. Call their names out at the dinner table. Call their names out at the dinner table, to remember them, to bring their spirits into your space, to thank them, to thank God for having had them in your lives. Please be sure to do that. And please be sure to offer a prayer of gratitude for where you are. I know somebody has come through some rough places and you got through it, or you're yet getting through it, but you're getting through it. That's the point. And so stop and live and work and communicate in a spirit of gratitude. Do that because it works. Gratitude really does work. So, anyway, today I'm thanking you, number one, everyone who is here. I can't see who you are, but I'm glad that you are here for a reading for Rest for the Justice Seeking Soul. I'm still hoping that you will purchase the book off of Amazon or Barnes and Noble or anywhere books are sold, and give them to your friends. I'm going to be purchasing some too to give to friends. I really want the sales to go up. I really want there to be a second edition of this book, a second printing, but we got to get the first ones out. So if you've not thought about what you're going to get for people that you know and love, please consider getting a copy of Rest for the Judges of Justice Seeking Soul. I will be forever grateful. And I really think that people who get it and who read it will be blessed as well. And you know why I say that? Because sometimes when I read my stuff, I say, shoot, that's pretty good. They're good inspiration for sermons and talks and lectures and all of that. So, anyway, the book is Rest for the Justice Seeking Soul. And I hope that you will consider getting a copy of it for maybe someone in your family. So, this morning we are reading from day 32, Walking Across Rope Bridges. And the scripture is, Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. So it has occurred to me that if we find ourselves in a place where we do not want to be, very often we have put ourselves there. Too often, we decide that what we are and who we are based on what our parents or friends or teachers or people who love us and whom we love have told us. We ingest and digest their opinions, their biases, and even their fears and their issues. We buy into what they say and we buy into it and make it our truth. We build boxes for ourselves according to their specifications and their blueprints. Even if we are uncomfortable in those boxes, we remain in them, wasting valuable days and hours. I will never forget taking a group of people from my church to West Africa. One of our delights on that trip was to visit the national forest called Kekum at Kekum National Park, where there are 7 rope bridges hung from the jungle canopy, 131 feet above the floor of the rainforest. We were excited to get to the bridges, but when we finally arrived and saw how narrow and unstable they appeared, some in the group audibly gasped. To be honest, I did not want to walk across the first bridge. It was long and it was swinging back and forth. I did not want to walk across that first bridge, let alone all 7. But the group was looking at me and looking to me. I had brought them there, and the unspoken question hung in the dense jungle air. Okay, what are you going to do? I took a deep breath. They were all staring at me. I took a deep breath. And while I was taking my breath, my son, who was about 11 years old at the time, said, "Come on, Ma." And he started across. And I gasped, even looking at him. I wanted to shout to him to be careful, but I stopped myself. The bridges had been there for a very long time, and a lot of people had walked across them. And to my knowledge, nobody had died. Maybe somebody had, but I didn't know about it. It wasn't something that was plastered on the publicity about this place. The bridges had been there a long time, and people had walked across them and had gone home. My son was safe. I knew it. I knew it. And I knew instinctively that I would be too, but I was still scared. So I took a deep breath and I began to walk across the bridge. And I was afraid to look down. And of course, my son, already on the other side of Bridge 1, said, "Look down, Ma." And it was breathtaking, actually. I don't even know why I looked down just because he said it, but I don't know. It's something in me. And I looked down and it really was scary, but it was breathtaking. And I could actually see the beauty of God's holiness. And it was right there. And I was being allowed to see it. So I did all 7 bridges. And I was quite proud of myself as I returned to the starting point where the others in the group were still waiting to go across. And I encouraged them. "I'm still alive." I said, "Go head on. You're going to be all right." Scared and tentative, one by one, they got in line. They were moving along when suddenly one person in the group returned around. She turned around halfway across the first bridge and she came back. Tears were rolling down her face and she said, "I'm scared. I'm scared. I can't do it." And I was stumped. I was stumped. She had made it to the middle of the bridge, and had turned and had stopped. All she had to do was keep walking, keep going. But she looked back. I remember in Lot's wife, she looked back, and she came back. She had put herself into a box that was too small. She did not and could not allow herself to break out of that box and take the next steps that would lead her to a different place. And I looked at that as a metaphor for us walking across rope bridges all our lives and being afraid to take the next step to the next bridge that God has put in front of us. So many of us get to the middle of the next step of our lives and turn back. Should I read that again? So many of us get to the next step of our lives and we turn back. The tapes of other voices play in our ears, their opinions, their judgments. They infect our spirits and we turn back. I can almost see God on the other side, like my son, urging us to take one more step. Come on, come on, come on. Instead, we turn around and do the same things that we have always done, expecting failure, and being mad about it and being morose about it. God can do great things with us if we just come out of our boxes and walk across the bridge that is in front of us. It may sway, it may be up high, it may seem scary, but the bridges are safe. The bridges that they're safe. They, pose some risk, but they are safe. God, listen to this. God cannot fit into the tiny spaces in which we have put ourselves. We put ourselves there. God didn't do that. No, God is walking ahead of us on the first bridge, on the first rope bridge, showing us the way. showing us that the swaying and moving paths on which we walk, although they are scary, will increase our faith and remind us that with God all things are possible. We come to those rickety broke bridges over and over in our lives. Only when we risk stepping out and trusting God will we move from where we are to where God wants us to be. Amen and amen. I like that one. I like that one. I really even like the memory of that day. I remember feeling like totally petrified. So, oh my gosh, I'm one who, if I'm going to be high up, I like to be enclosed. I said once before that if I'm going to be in an amusement park, I don't ever go on something where my feet are dangling. I need to be enclosed in something. And when I remember when we got to those bridges, then I thought, oh, that's not it. That's not it. That's not going to help me on today. But I also knew that I had to do it. I had to do it for myself. I had to do it for my children. I really did, because your children learn their attitudes and their feelings about life from you, from the parents, and so I had to do it. Once I got across the first bridge, I was cool. I was still nervous, but I was cool. I thought, shoot, I'm gonna do this. And I looked down. I had furtive glances every now and then. I mean, I just didn't stop at the side and look down. It was just way too far down for me. And I just, you can look down and you can make things up about how yucky it is. And so I just would walk, and every once in a while I get a little glance because I wanted to see the beauty of God's holiness. I just wanted to see it from that position where I was. And when I did it, I felt really good. God has bridges in front of all of us. God has some bridges in front of my life right now, my life right now, and I got to take the step. I got to step onto a bridge that I'm kind of nervous about. But when I go back and I read that, I'm remembering and I'm reminded that other people have walked across those bridges. Maybe the people have walked across the bridge that God is putting in front of me. I don't know. I would bet so. My job, my job, is to have enough faith in God to take the first step and then to keep on going. That's what we have to do as people, people who fight for justice, women, immigrants, people of different religions and ethnicities and genders, all of us who are fighting for justice and freedom in this country, for dignity. We have to keep on going. So there's always going to be a bridge, but there's also always going to be a God. That is the word. That is the message. So I'm not sure that I'm going to be here next week, but if I am, I will see you then. I will put out a notice on Facebook to let you, because I'm going out of town, but I will put a notice on Facebook if I'm going to be there. And if you're up, in the throes of finishing your big old Thanksgiving dinner, turn me on. Let's talk together. All right. Have a good day. God bless. Take care.